YouTube, welcome to Beauty in the Empty Nest. Today I'm starting a brand new series that I thought would be interesting. Give me feedback below. Do you know when you go to places, especially like Sephora or any kind of department store, and you get samples of things? Or you order through places and you get samples of things? Or you're walking through some festival and you get samples of things? What do you do with those samples? I know for myself, if it's something I purposely went to, for example, Sephora and asked for a sample of because I was going to test it out before I purchased it, then that kind of is a natural pathway. Okay, I'm going to test it out, and if it works, and there's my dog Bailey behind there. I didn't want to close her out because she gets lonely. But anyway, I know that then I want to decide through the sample whether it will work for me. Does it make me break out? Does it make me too glowy? Does it, all those kinds of fill in the blank items of why you might want to be getting a sample. Well, and then I started thinking about every time I order something, sometimes I get samples and they just get shoved into the bottom of a drawer. So I decided I wanted to start keeping track of my samples and decide whether it's going to be something I want to purchase or it's going to go into the garbage. Hence the birth of this series, Sample to Purchase or Garbage. Tell me if you think this is interesting and if you'd like this, and I'll keep up the series. I've already been starting to stash aside certain samples I put aside, and I decided that I would start with the most samples I got at one time, which was back over a month ago, the VIB Rouge Beauty Before Lunch. Did anyone else go to that at Sephora? This is the postcard that I had gotten from that. The beauty of this was not only did I get samples made, because that was what it was set up for the event. You got this cute little bag filled with some samples, and then you walked around. There were representatives from different companies. There were also tons of little containers that you would fill with samples of different products that you wanted. So it really was like an open market to take the samples that you want. My daughter was also there with me, so we ended up very nicely getting 2 of these bags. So I have some unused that I will share with you. And also we got several additional. She loved making the samples with me. She's 15 and a half. She loved making all the little different samples with me. She doesn't like makeup or anything, but she liked making the samples. So I thought this would be a great launching part. Not only because I got so many samples, but the idea is I also want to tell you my decision on whether it's something I would potentially purchase in the future or not. So I wanted to use these products for a while. So let's get going. This will probably be a very long one compared to some of the other ones I eventually might do. However, let's just get going. So let's start first of all in the little bag that we got. We got a lot of different samples, and I believe we all got very similar products, however maybe not. So one of the first ones I got was a Fresh, I love it, it's so pretty, the Rose Face Mask, but it's by Fresh. I also didn't realize this was in our bag and also got some little samples because I really love all these Fresh products, and they're quite pricey. So this is a great opportunity to either get some to use as a special occasion or to be able to decide, do I really want to invest this much money in this particular product? So this is the Rose Face Mask, and it's with soothing rose petals. It's supposed to hydrate and tone your skin. Okay, so for this one, it is beautiful from the fact that it smells marvelous. It's just like any other face mask. I applied it for the 10 minutes and then washed it off. It was a cleanse face, applied it, and then washed it off. It went on very thick. There was nothing atypical from this type of a mask, except that it smelled divine. Just like roses, like it should, right? However, oh, and let me go back before the however, although you probably know kind of where I'm going from this. Full-size product of this, there's quite large tube, and I'll leave all the information down below, of course. It's going to be $98 or around that price range, about $92. I know. However, it is quite large. I mean, I have some other sample ones. Here's a deluxe sample of the same product, and even this would probably give maybe one very good coating for your mask, or 2 from here. Probably more like just 1 because they don't keep well after you close them back up. This little deluxe sample is probably 4, maybe even more. So I would say that the $92 one probably would maybe almost last you 6-9 months. So put that into perspective, depending on how frequently I like to use a mask once a week. It's just kind of one of those easy for me to keep track of when I need to use one. If my skin starts looking awful, I try and think, what do I need to use then to help through this? So back to the rose one. Smells wonderful, absolutely wonderful. However, as I started before, I didn't really notice any difference in my skin. I didn't notice any benefits from it. I didn't notice anything besides the fact that it just smelled wonderful. And I can imagine if you were doing like kind of one of those spa days at home with a beautiful bubble bath and this on, it would probably be wonderful. However, I didn't see the big benefits from it. Again, it's supposed to promote suppleness in your skin. It's supposed to soothe it. And I didn't notice anything different between this and using a real nice moisturizer. So keep that in mind. That was in that little bag. Another little sample size of Professionals, but from Benefit. I already used this, so obviously I would buy it again. But I was so glad because this is just such a nice size for travel. Isn't that cute? So that's a real nice size for travel. What else was in there? Oh, I love this. Again, some of these were already my favorites because it was already in there. Loctane. This is the 20% shea butter mixture. This isn't any special. This is just their original kind of scent. But what a cute, adorable little things to fit into your purse. Again, great for travel or just adorable little size. Love this stuff anyway. So yes, I would repurchase. There also was an Factor X, what do they call that? Just the X brand? Anyway, Sephora's nail polish in a really pretty pale pink color. Typical nail polish, I love the color. It did apply quite well. To me, this kind of color is really nice. First of all, when I do my nails, I don't do them very neatly. So there's some mistake wiggle room here. On top of that, if it chips off, it doesn't really show that much, right? So this is a great color for that. And I love the idea that it's as small as this is great for travel as well, too. Okay, what else was there? There was another type of mask by Kors. This was the Wild Rose, and this was an overnight mask. Again, beautiful scent. I didn't get the full benefit out of it that I felt that it was going to be worthwhile. And I don't have, I'm trying to look at my notes here, I don't have the actual price written down here for this one. However, I'll link it down below. I'm getting a really nice experience in it. Let me show you the little tube that it comes in. Again, I had my own sample set that I was able to use, so I still have one here. And I guess sometimes when I travel, I like to bring little masks with me because it's something fun and nice to do. So perfect for that. If I had problems in my skin, I wouldn't be using something like this. I guess that's a good way to put it, right? Those are nice for when you just want to use a mask and maybe do some benefits for your skin, but not something that you see that's bothering you that you need to address. Another one that I really don't use, so I have a hard time. This is one of the samples they gave you. I can't really rate this. It's one of the Tarte Pure Maracuja oil. I'm probably really butchering that name there. If you have great ideas of how to use this, I'm just not into the oil stuff at all yet. Even argan oils, I don't get into those all yet. There is actually a face oil that I've been testing out and really love and probably will be purchasing. I'll share that at another point though, but I still am in the sample size of it yet because it's quite pricey. This was in our sample bag. It's really cute. So maybe if you leave me some hints on how to use this well, let me know. There was also a little mascara. It's the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes one. This is not the waterproof one. I like the waterproof ones. I think that one's called Splashes then. Typical mascara. I will be doing a video on battle of the mascaras, kind of all the ones that I've been testing out, and there's high-end and drugstore values there that I will talk about some of these. Typical mascara, nothing that stood out. Would I repurchase it? No. But it's nice to have these little samples. And then there was another one. There's one other thing from here also. This was from Bare Minerals. Marvelous Moxie Lip Gloss. This was in the color Maverick. And typical applicator, doe foot applicator. Nothing special here. It's just angled a little bit, right? But the color is wonderful. I'm going to put a little sample on here for you. I just have loved this color. It's a little bit, it's like a nudish kind of brick almost color, with a little pizzazz, so it's not too just plain, I'm not wearing anything, but it's enough there, so isn't that pretty? And as far as the lip gloss goes, it has a tiny bit of a tingle to it. Whether you like that or not. It wears well, it applies well, and just want to remember, the smell is nothing, it's almost just a kind of a minty smell. I have another one that I have a sample of that, to me it smells like paint thinner. So it's really hard, even though I like the way the gloss applies. This one doesn't. This one has a very nice smell. I really like this color. I was so glad because, again, my daughter was with me, so we got 2 of those bags. So I now have 2 of those lip glosses, which I really like. So thrilled with that. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing. Sorry, I kept it aside because it was leaking. This was, and I'm going to mispronounce Botch this name, so just be ready for that. I'm going to say it's Boscia. I know I've heard other people say that. This was their detoxifying black cleanser. This did not work for me at all. The first time after I used it, I noticed I had little like pinprick red dots all over my face. Put it aside, figured maybe it was a combination of something I did. Used it a couple of days later with just nothing else that could have complicated it. Same thing. And they were not pimples. They were not hives. They just were and they were kind of small, but you could definitely see them all over my face. And it would last almost until the next morning. I remember usually washing it, I could still see them lightly, so I would use it at night. Tried this periodically across the past 6 weeks, and every time I don't know, again, what's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results, but I kept tinkering with it, thinking that there's something there because I thought this was quite highly rated. However, nope, and I have 2 of these and they're almost semi-full now, so this into the garbage now. I'm done with my scientific experiment there. Okay, let's move on to some other things now that I got little samples of. One of them was, well, actually I have 4 or 5 different primers because my professionals that I love is starting to run low, so this is my time where I start looking for samples. So one of them was the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I know, quite pricey. However, I learned a little trick with it. The first couple times I used it, I put what I thought was the right amount on, and I noticed I put my foundation on, like one of my current favorites, which I also got a sample of, the Makeup Forever, the Ultra HD, also some of my Laura Mercier ones, and I felt like they didn't then go through my skin. Do you know what I mean? Like they weren't provided the opportunity to kind of blend in with my skin, which is what I really like when my foundation just kind of molds into my skin as well. So I was thinking, well, maybe that because the Hourglass, if you know any of the background, then the Veil Mineral is supposed to be increase the longevity, of course, and it's also supposed to have a waterproofing quality to it. I did not test out that, so I cannot say that. However, I have to say that my makeup did last very well throughout the day without even using my Urban Decay spray, all-nighter spray. So there's many times I tested it that way, and it stayed very nicely. The waterproof factor, again, I didn't go swimming or anything. I can't attest to that part. However, what I did notice was that I started thinking back. I was like, I thought I recalled that you're not supposed to apply very much of it. And it's a very liquidy, very slippery feel to it, which is very different than, keep looking back here, some of these types. And 2 of the other ones I'm going to mention in a minute. So I started thinking about, I thought I remembered you're supposed to apply very little. So I went back and I just did a very light layer, still coating my skin, and then let it sit for not even a full minute, but just really let it sit right away. And then I saw a very different effect. Then I started loving it. It really, my makeup applied so smoothly over top of it. It lasted well. I started seeing all the benefits that I've heard about. Now, you have to take into consideration it is pricey. So a full size of the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer is $52. Yeah, I know. However, they have a smaller size. It's a travel size one typically available. That's, I want to say it's like $19. And for the amount that you use, I kind of have this feeling like if you figured out how much you used per ounce, you know, your dollar per ounce or pennies per ounce, and you compared it to something like the prices of like the professionals, which is around $30 depending on you get the full size, I almost feel like they would equal out. I haven't calculated out there because I don't know exactly how much they are and I don't have a scale, all those kinds of things. But I feel like they might even out. Would I ever go and buy the full-size one? Probably not. I don't want to make that much of a commitment. However, you know, in Sephora, the candy aisle, as you're checking out, that's typically where I have seen the travel size one, and it's a good size. So keep that as a thought as well, too. 4 others, I know, 2 from Too Faced. One was the Hangover Replenishing Face Primer, and the other one was, I'm reading it from my little list because I was making notes as I was going along. The other one was the Primed and Poreless Skin Smoothing. Very similar consistencies, that little bit of a thicker consistency, similar to the Professionals from Benefit. Then you really do rub it in. One had a little more color tint than the other, but again, they don't last when you apply it to your skin. My favorite between the 2 is the Hangover Replenishing Face Primer, which I did not expect because that's supposed to have a little more hydration level in it, but it did not make my skin glowy or oily looking at all. I felt like it did a beautiful job applying. My makeup went on really nicely over it. And I felt like, again, it kept my skin and my makeup looking very fresh and not settling into my pores and my lines as much as it probably would have. The primed and poreless, which I thought was going to be the one I'd really like, I saw better effects from it being primed and poreless on the hangover replenishing one than the primed and poreless. Interesting, right? See if anyone else has noticed that too. They both are in that $32, $30 price range for a full-size one. So definitely the hangover replenishing one and the mineral veil one are my front runners for my next primer that I will purchase. I probably won't get the primed and poreless. It was fine, but for that price, I'd rather look maybe at a drugstore one if I was trying to look at a price value. I also tried the Makeup Forever. This was, I actually had an old container, but I also got one of these as well. This was the #1, so step 1, and it was the skin equalizer. So this was supposed to help your skin, and actually this was a moisturizing one. This is the hydrating one. So I tried both of those. This, the matte, the #1, was supposed to keep it more matte. However, I felt like it sucked my skin dry. It did not work at all for me. I mean, talk about matte, it just went boom. So way more than I needed, so it did not work well. The hydrating one also, and I can't remember which number this was, #3, hydrating primer #3, was also very nice. Just nothing that I would go and sink that much money into. So, and those are both around $36. So those are a little bit more. Again, pluses or minuses as to the full size and the weights and how much you use of each one. You have to take that all into consideration as well. But so far I have not been as impressed with the Makeup Forever ones, and I've heard great reviews. So maybe I just haven't found the right one. So I tried the #1, the matte one, and then this one was the #3, the hydrating one. So that I think was all from my primers. I tried one new foundation, and it was a Laura Mercier. It's in this little container here. It was, I'm reading the exact title, the Silk Cream Oil-Free Photo Edition Foundation. Loved it. Loved it. I generally like most of Laura Mercier products anyway. This foundation is wonderful, just as much as my other Laura Mercier foundation, which is it the Fluid Matte? It's the one you have to shake up and you can actually hear the little things in there. And this one might be similar to that too. I've only seen the sample of it. I'll leave a link below for that one because that's one of my holy grail foundations. I believe this one will as well. Next time I have to buy a foundation, it will probably be this one. It provides a very nice natural finish. It applies really well. It lasts very well. It doesn't break up. I loved it. I just absolutely love this foundation. It's the typical price for the Laura Mercier. It was $48 for the typical full size. I applied it with a beauty brush, with a beauty blender, everything beauty brush. My favorite Morphe brush that I use, foundation, and a beauty blender all work really well. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Might be one of my top ones besides the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, which I absolutely love right now. I actually have my other Laura Mercier one on today. Again, I can't remember the full title. You know, there's all those special things. I'll leave it all below so you can see that, because that currently, the Makeup Forever and that one, and my MAC one comes in there too. Yeah. But the MAC is a lighter color. I haven't been able to wear it lately. But anyway, this will be a certain purchase for the next time I need to buy foundation. Yay! Okay, so the next one's on to some other masks. I tried some other different masks. Fresh, this is a deluxe sample one. I had got it in the little ones. This is the Black Tea Instant Perfecting Mask. I also tried the Black Tea by Fresh, the Black Tea Firming Overnight Mask. So this is supposed to be like the 10-15 minute one. Then there was the overnight one. Loved them both. Love them. Love them. But they're expensive. The full-size container is going to be $92. How long that lasts you, I don't know. Depends how thickly you apply it. My guess is if I got one, it would probably last me about 9 months, 6 to 9 months. I use it, like I said, about once a week, more often if I see something. This is supposed to, again, help some of the anti-aging, some of the firmness, all the typical things. I love this one. I see a difference in my skin. It looks more clear. It looks more even toned the next morning. Love it. So the difference between the overnight one and the shorter version one, I'm leaning, again, I actually saw bigger benefits from the overnight one. I'm not sure about sleeping in it and turning on my pillow. I think I'm going to have to put a towel down, which I just haven't gotten over that, and to spend almost $100 on one that then sleeping with it, you feel funny putting your... So anyway, I have to think about that if I decide to make the plunge, but if I do, I do love this. The Black Tea Firming Overnight, or just the shorter 10-minute one. I also tried two different Glam Glow ones. I have yet to find a Glam Glow one that really works for me. I tried the, let's see, the Power Mud Dual Cleanse. Smells wonderful. Didn't see that much difference in my skin afterwards. And I also tried the Tingle Exfoliate treatment. Again, they're both okay. They're both good. Nothing wrong with them. My skin responded, but I didn't see big enough bang for the buck. Both of those, the full-size containers, are going to be about $69. And I think they're pretty comparable to the fresh containers. If I was going to be putting out that much money at this point, I still would probably go for the fresh, but that's still a lot of money to put out there at once. I haven't made that commitment yet. I'm still going to keep doing the samples until I'm 100% sure. If you can recommend a nice Glam Glow one, anti-aging, some hydration, please do, because I have not found one yet that I've noticed enough of a change and difference in it that it was something I would actually plunge in and buy. Okay, the other two little things that I want to talk about were the first one, starting out with one. Let's go to this one. Again, I got a little sample of it, but now I have a deluxe sample. It's the Belief Aqua Bomb Moisturizer. Aqua Bomb Moisturizer. Love this stuff. Beautiful moisturizer. I will repurchase it the next time I need a moisturizer and I don't want one with any SPF. I like SPF for the morning moisturizer that I use. However, this is great at night, or in the morning I'll use this around my eyes because sometimes the SPF around my eyes makes them burn and get all red, all tear all day long. So a full size of this is going to be $38, pretty comparable to like I tend to use or really like the Clinique Dramatically Different, you know, that yellow stuff. This molds in a lot more. It just feels a little more liquidy when you're putting it on. I don't know how to say that, but it just feels like it instantly puts moisture on. I love this. So Belief, it's a B-E-L-I-F. Love it, love it, love it. Will purchase that the next time I need that. The next one was kind of a letdown, but I'm not sure I was so let down just because, if you recognize this blue oil, many of you already recognize this is Sunday Riley, the Luna Sleeping Night Oil. And if you have any information about it, you know that the full-size container of this is very expensive. $105. Okay, this was just the sample size. I just wasn't seeing, I heard dramatic, wonderful reviews. Your skin looks fresh, it looks illuminated, just everything you would expect. Lines disappearing, all those kinds of things I've read the reviews on. I did not see that. I didn't even see enough to make me motivated to keep using it. I used it for a week solid. Didn't see much difference. Committed to using, again, I had another size like this. Committed to using it for another week. Still didn't see enough that it just wasn't there for me. I wish well, I don't know. I wish I saw the results because everything I've heard about, it would be worth investing the $105 on it because you don't use that much. And again, the full size is much larger. However, I was kind of glad because I don't have to think about, do I want to invest $105 in a sleeping night oil? It smells a little strange too, just to put that out there. Not that that should necessarily sway, but if you are sensitive to smells, you might want to check it out before you do purchase it, and obviously try a sample first. Try a sample first. Okay, momentary pause there. The mailman drove by, my dogs went wild. Anyway, I would have been very upset if I invested $105 in it, and after 3 weeks didn't see the changes that I was hoping to see, and then you're on that thing, can I really return it now? So, high recommendations by many people, so I think that it does work for some people. I did not see the effects for me, but I highly recommend sample first. I would imagine that most people would probably do that anyway, but just know sample first. I think that wraps up all I have for right now. I'm really excited about continuing this on. Like I said, I already have a little stash of samples that I've been testing out along the way that I hope to report back to you. And again, share what it's like using it beyond just 1 or 2 times, with the idea that I would be able to tell you, will I purchase this? Or am I on the fence because I'm thinking about if I have the finances to purchase for some of these more higher end things, or is it total garbage? It will not work for me. Unfortunately, this Luna is going to go into the garbage, which this little sample, I wish I had someone, I might see if one of my friends want to try it. A sample that's been used and opened, but anyway, some of these, like I said, would go right in the garbage. So I hope this is a helpful series to you. Give me a thumbs up. Give me 2 thumbs up. If this has been helpful, if this has been interesting, you want me to continue this, or just like the fact that I'm here trying to do this. On top of that, please subscribe. I love the fact, and my dog is barking saying yes, I love the idea of building this community, this family, and it's been growing so quickly. I am so excited about the way that you've all been responding and giving me such great feedback. And I didn't know going on this venture whether this was something that would be something people would want to be watching, and I've just thank you so much is what I just have to say. I made my 100 subscribers goal way ahead of time, so now I'm shooting off looking ahead for 500. Oh, we can do it. Anyway, so please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm not a consistent basis for uploading videos, which is the other reason I recommend subscribing, so that when I do, it'll be right when I do upload a video, it's right there waiting for you. At some point I might get on a consistent basis, but I'm trying to see how this all works with work. For example, I was out of town last week for work and was so sure I'd be able to record some videos while I was there in a beautiful down in Tampa, but it just didn't happen. You know, work happens and that has to be a priority. So to roll back to the main premise here, if you subscribe, then you don't have to worry about when is a video going to be coming out. So leave comments below. I'd love to hear from you if there's other samples or other samples that I tried that you think I should try a different way, or something to recommend. Like I said, a Glam Glow mask or some other type of a mask that you think I should try, because I'm always searching for something. So until next time, I hope everyone is enjoying all of this. It's been helpful to you in your research process. And also I hope that you all are having very positive and productive times since I actually get to talk with you. I'm really enjoying this. I will stop now or else I'll keep talking and talking and talking. Until next time, goodbye, YouTube.